Welcome. We'll get started shortly. Hey, video work.
Ah,
Let's go. Hmm? It was getting warmed up for it. It was getting warmed up for it. It's a thing with that. Two.
that passer really
Social media. Such a fun place. Sometimes. It's a matter of he's always got some goodies.
Well, we got the volume.
So,
we are ready to go, man. Welcome to another episode of Above Average Black Men. You're truly Chris Bender Sr.
Chris Jr. here to empower, inspire, and uplift the community.
Devin Pender here to remind you guys that like, follow, subscribe, share, and comment. Interact with us.
I love it. Yes. Welcome, everyone. Excited for another Wednesday night chatting with the boys. Let's get it going.
Tonight's topic is mediocrity the new norm?
Yes, and it all started with participation trophies. Whenever they started giving those,
I didn't see that one coming.
I already knew that.
I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, when once they started doing that, and then we was all on the same playing field, everybody leaves with something. Then it's nothing to fight for to be special anymore.
Well, I mean, and where it comes from, because I talk to people, and I'm not going to get into where, because they're kind of narrow the field down for certain people. But I'm amazed at the number of people who just are okay with being just okay. They're okay with having just enough. And it's different and unique to me. And because I'm starting to see it in kids, when you start talking to little kids in school and the stuff they do, they kind of had the same attitude. I just enough. So we're creating a whole nother generation of I'm okay with just being okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think kind of what you said is, I mean, people, we're being raised on that a little bit. I think sometimes that there is, it's funny, I was talking to I had a Lyft driver, and he was from the DR, and we were just talking about how, like, the idea of just work ethic and just really going hard to have something. And, like, that's why he came to the United States, to at least have that opportunity to work hard and turn that into something. And I think, some people here kind of take what we have for granted, and that, they are okay with just doing just enough on a daily basis. When I feel like here, if you put some work in, of course, I know we have it a little bit harder than our counterparts in terms of opportunities and just being set behind. But the idea of just being able to, you can really obtain some dope and great things here if you really work for it. I think some people have a mentality of just, the game is rigged, and they kind of give up and just get the little bit that they feel like they can get out of it. Dev, what's your ideas and thoughts?
I personally, it definitely started with the participation trophy, but also the mentality of y'all ever heard like people say C's get degrees?
Yeah.
I feel like that's one thing that definitely added to the mediocrity thing as well too. Is like I don't have to push as hard. If I could just get this grade, or if I could just do this amount of work, then I'll be okay. I'll be free from judgment. And I feel like that's like where a lot of it started.
But I used to, even with the C's, like they do say those are the people that run the world, C students. But I mean, that logic or idea behind that was like, they kind of are figuring out ways to do things, kind of outside the norm. They're like, you're free thinkers. But I mean, to your point now, I do think that's just, the bar is set low. And I don't think it's people who are kind of driving and pushing people to go above and beyond. It's an idea now of like kind of, I I think it's like almost kind of frowned upon if you try to push somebody to do something excellent or outside their norm. Like I think it is definitely frowned upon, or it's like this delicate balance of how you can actually do it. So I think that's kind of been leading towards the idea of nobody's saying that you had to do anything. I don't feel like nobody's actually pushing other people to do things.
Well, I think, all right, so it's a mixed bag of nuts. And I say why I say it's a mixed bag of nuts because it's not even about pushing people to do anything in particular. It's about trying to inspire people to do better. And understanding better is different for everybody.
Yes.
Everybody's level of success is going to be different. Everybody's not going to be an entrepreneur. Everybody's not going to be a guru in business, but it just seems like we have a lot of people now who think they're going to get rich quick. And Devin brought it up last week. They want to be YouTubers. They want to be influencers. All these different things.
But even that takes some work.
Yeah, but they don't see that part.
Yeah.
They just see the end result. They see, somebody got 1 million followers and they getting paid. And then I think also I do agree. Have we done a bad job passing it down? Because we haven't exactly, like, I go back to when people started talking about you don't have to go to college, you don't have to do this, all the stuff they were putting out to the people, to Devin's point, it's almost like we stopped trying. It's almost like we said, okay, well, since that's not going to do any good, what's the use?
But it's like, even with that idea of like that example, you don't have to go to college. I feel like nobody's ever on the opposite side of that. Okay, then what can I do? What is something that I can do that, still either excel in or aspire to? I think that sometimes has been missing is like you have so many people around sometimes it's even probably at a young age, like, why are you doing that? Like, why are you putting so much energy into that? Why are you putting so much thought into that? Well, and it kind of deters people sometimes. And it's like I think it's been heightened on so many levels where just kids are scared to kind of even make that push or stand out sometimes. They kind of just follow into what everybody else is doing, which is not being really pushed to do anything.
Well, I mean, and let me put this out there. You don't have to go to college to be successful.
I know,
but I'm just saying to people listening, that's not what I was saying. You heard people on TV about 10 years ago saying why, you don't need to go to college. They give you all these excuses about how the money and debt and all kind of things like that. But they don't push trade schools. They don't tell you what else to do. And I think people heard that. Parents heard it. Why am I sending my kid to college? He don't get a job, or he's only going to make X amount of money anyway. Because I've had adults tell me I'm not sending my kids to college; they pay for it themselves. So you kind of, at the time, you didn't realize that you were hearing it, but you saw this coming.
Yeah,
you saw this coming, man. But even to be a C student, it didn't say aim to get a C. That's just what the person got. It didn't say going in with, everybody's everybody's not going to grasp it and be
a little bit social and be a little bit.
It didn't say just aim to get a C. That's based on people who graduate with C's. And what it meant was that you don't have to be a 4.0 student to be successful. But I think something else is different now. Is no longer get a job and work in a factory and get a pension. Those days are gone. Where you can go somewhere and work for 30 years and retire. Those days are gone. And I think that's another reason why I think I'm not an economist. Poverty is growing because we stopped trying to overachieve. People stopped trying to get out of certain neighborhoods, certain communities, because they were selling out. I heard it when I was leaving the hood. And I think that's why you see what you see now. Look at our school systems. Our school system, we're producing a bunch of kids who are going to be mediocre or below.
Yeah, for some of the people's dreams is honestly it's just enough. Like it's really making sure that you got the bare minimum sometimes. Like, and that's the bar, like I said, is set so low. And I think people think the game is rigged or fixed and don't even see themselves being able to get past or beyond a certain point. It's a really troubled world that I feel like we live in, where a lot more people are accepting of or just believe that, either that they can't aspire to do great things or just honestly not even really motivated to do much anything. I feel like, I'm sure you see that, the kids that you work with, they just aren't motivated to do anything because they can't necessarily see beyond the day-to-day that they're living or that they're in. Devin, you just was working with kids, so I know you've seen that too. So I mean, if you could share any kind of any of your examples of what you've seen in terms of kids just kind of having that motivation to do something or even not wanting to do anything?
It's mostly like they don't want to have the motivation to learn or try to do some of these things on their own. When I say that, I mean, for example, we're doing math. It could be like not the easy. To me, it's probably easy because obviously like I've been through it already. But it could be something simple where, for example, 2 problems before, it could have 5 times 3. And then I help you get the answer.
he keeps telling me the same story.
Yeah.
It's not funny, but he just
3 problems later, it'll be 3 times 5. And then just looking at me to
give you the answer.
Yeah, and it's like you're not even trying, you're not even looking at all the different things we did before to try to apply it to this equation.
And just kind of
you just want to take
to get the handout.
Yeah, you just want to take the short way out because at some point I'm like, all right, well, it's this just because.
But you know what though, that also kind of breeds mediocrity. No child left behind, and like what we. Yeah, I was about to say it's probably so many things to kind of lead towards this idea of mediocrity. Whether it's just kind of some of the things that are happening or lacking at home, but then also just in schools, like even there is just kind of this idea of like, just show up and we'll make sure that you can get on. So it's like, why nobody's even really being pushed or expected to do something? And a lot of times that's just our kids.
Well, I think we can't, we can't blame that on No Child Left Behind. I know you're not, but I'm saying I hear people say that. But
it's a piece of a puzzle.
Yeah, I hear people say that, but that what Devin's talking about is not.
Kids was failing back in the day, though, right?
But what I'm saying is, kids don't want to learn, and they're not thinking about No Child Left Behind. They just don't understand. They don't value education, and
they
I don't
know they're gonna get pushed through, though, right?
Well, no, they're not even thinking about that. It's like Devin, they just. Chris, you kids get left down, or you tell them they fail in the class, they don't care. They're not even thinking about graduating. And most of those kids until they get to high school, when they start realizing, how bad it is. These kids, to Devin's point, in middle school, Chris, they don't even think like that anymore.
I mean, I guess that's part of what No Child Left Behind has done is where you don't even think about the idea of like, well, I have to do these things to get to this point. You're just coasting along, and then you hit that wall where it's just like, man, it's too late.
But they're not coasting. They don't know, and they hate not knowing. To Devin's point, they do. They're embarrassed for not knowing. They just don't. It's no value there. It's like I'm okay where I'm at right now. I'm okay. And I'll talk to some kids in high school. Recently I had a class in Cheltenham. It was really good. Really knocked my socks off the first class. But sometimes I talk to kids in high school. They failing, man. They don't care about not graduating. I'm gonna drop out if I don't graduate. I'm gonna go work in some store somewhere. The bar is so low. I can stay with my mom. I can stay in my mom's basement. The bar is just so low. They do. The bar is just. I had a young lady told me last year. Well, I'm just like my sister.
Did you talk to your mom about that?
Yeah, I had a young lady told me last year. I'm gonna do with my sisters. They got pregnant, and a couple of them got together. They got a place to live, and so that's another thing people are starting to do. It's like the wrong people becoming role models, and so where I was when we grew up in the hood, I was always talking about what I wanted to be. Excuse me, what I want in my life. Love my neighborhood, but I knew I was going to spend the rest of my life around it. You don't hear that now.
So I have a question about mediocrity and different things like that. I definitely got this from an excerpt in LinkedIn, by the way. Do you think it is contagious?
Yeah. I think
it spreads like wildfire.
Not like a disease, but yeah, because I think we live in a time now where people are more likely to do what they see and not what they hear. We do.
And then, they tell you that you're like the people that you spend around the most. And if most people are leaning towards, that pattern or lifestyle and just kind of mediocrity. Then,
well, it's people want shortcuts. And people have been trained to get the bare necessities. And I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with it being, a cycle. I had parents say, well, I had to do it. My kid got to figure it out because I had to figure it out. That's not what it's supposed to be like.
Hmm.
Working at the school program, dealing with some of these parents is like, for instance, I'm talking about a little kid and he's a bully. He's not a real bully because he picks on girls and people smaller than him. Anyway, but I'm having a conversation and I'm the only one that seems like I'm not thinking about this kid right now. He's like 8 years old. I'm thinking about him 10 years from now. Because 10 years from now, he's not going to be the biggest dude in high school. 10 years from now, he may not make it. And mom is just not thinking about this because aunt comes up and cusses everybody out and in front of him tell he don't have to listen to anybody, and I'm thinking to myself like, this dude gonna go through life thinking he don't have to listen to anybody. He gonna go through life thinking, living in the hood, just barely making it is okay because I'm cool.
So,
because I'm cool, or I think I'm cool.
So it just, honestly, it kind of almost seems like, mediocrity is just, it's almost a pattern in a sense.
No, you're right. I don't think it's almost, I agree.
It's a pattern in a sense, just based off of kind of one generation handled it down to the next. And honestly, I feel like it's gotten progressively worse.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know people who...
Just people misguided.
Well, I think misguided, misinformed, and I think undereducated. I think you put those things together, it's kind of hard. Like I said, when I was talking to kids, I said this to them. I said, you got to be what you want to see. And what I mean by that is you wanted to be a good basketball player. So you started working your shot down. You were your mind, you were where you needed to get. Most people are different now. We kind of wait and see. You got to, in your mind, you got to be that now. So you can keep working, because if you go into something not thinking you're ever going to succeed, like you said, or not thinking it's ever going to work, if you do it, you're going to do it half-heartedly. So in your mind, you got to say, this is what I want to be. So because I want to be, I see it. And I think that's part of it. When I talk to how many people have never even thought about a vision statement, man, or never even thought about, the future, live day by day. I remember the first time I said to my dad, chilling. He said, chilling means you're in a frozen state going nowhere. And there's a lot of people who are still just chilling. They just chilling. Or I'm just getting by. Like, I would never say that to somebody. That itself speaks mediocrity to me.
Those are just kind of phrases that I think are embedded in our,
I agree, community. But at some point, somebody has to wake up, because I was having this conversation and somebody said, yeah, well, they don't have any role models, and I get it. But somewhere along the line, everybody sees somebody who made it up. May not be right around the corner from you, but everybody sees somebody who made it up. So at what point do you look around and say, I'm choosing to be like that and not like this?
But I think some people kind of use the excuse or think like, oh, that person's lucky, or well, you got it good. You hear that a lot too. Like,
yeah, but you don't. But
I think that's a problem with people, that comparisons and almost. It's funny, like they do it to themselves. They like put themselves in this box of like, oh well, what was me? I didn't have this. I didn't have that.
Well, this is my shameless plug.
So this is what I deserve or can achieve.
This is my shameless plug for my new book I'm working on. It's called The Me Inside of Me. And to your point, I believe that we all have a voice inside of us that creates doubt. We all do. Who maybe you're not good enough to do this, or maybe but we also all have the ability to overcome that. And I think this is where it comes down to, like I say, destiny is a matter of choice, not chance. So you just got to make a choice. The choice is, I'm going to get this my best shot. It may not turn like it, but I'm going to get this my best shot. I'm not, when that inner voice starts talking to me, I'm not just going to quit. And I see more of that when I talk to people who just settle for mediocrity. And to your point, then talk about, or you bougie, or you this, or you got, and no, it's not. Yeah, you may have it good now, but you had to work to get there. And even now, with you having it good, there's stuff behind the scenes that people just don't see. So I agree with you about the comparison, because you don't know.
Yeah. And I think it's kind of funny in a way.
Wayne, what's up, dude?
We put ourselves in a box sometimes of limiting what we can and can't do.
But why? And let's go back to that. But it takes little to no effort They have nothing. None. No, nothing. But it takes work that, and again, there's something that's up to each individual. So I'm not saying everybody has to be a business owner. I'm not saying everybody has to do this or do that. But at some point, you got to start telling yourself mediocrity is not enough. You know, at the end of the day, if you say you did the very best you can, regardless of what station of life you end up in, that's cool. But if you know you haven't, you know, if you know you just took shortcuts or you always try to have an angle, you know what I mean? You know, you lying and finagling, or you can fool everybody, but you can't fool yourself.
Yeah.
And to your point, it becomes generational because now, you know, your kids got to suffer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just think, and more I see mediocrity, and like you said, with the kids, man, I see, you know, they're not inspired.
I mean, that's honestly, I'm not gonna lie, probably what I care about or who I care about the most in this conversation. Because I mean, for some adults, I don't want to say it's a lost cause, but but you know, I think some people can turn around and kind of later in life figure things out. Yeah. But I think just kind of seeing it with kids, to me, is probably more frightening, just because thinking that's our future. Those are our future politicians, you know, our doctors, our lawyers, our people that are going to be helping society move forward. So just to see, kind of, you know, looking back at that, it's funny because I'm sure y'all talked about me like that when I was a child in our generation.
No, this is different, and I say this to people.
I feel like an old man sometimes.
This generation, this younger generation that's coming now is totally different, and is endeavoring to tell you because you worked around them.
I know
they're unlike any generation I've ever seen. For one, there's a little kid that at least once a week he comes up to me and says, because you know I give him notebooks to draw and stuff. At least once a week he comes up to me and says, "Yo, Mr. Chris, why do you keep giving all the rest of them books?" He says, "You know, you shouldn't be giving them books, man." You know, I said, "But I give you books." He said, "Yeah, that's different." You know, he said, yeah. But so even in that generation, we already breeding selfishness. I'm looking. No, it's not. He's not getting fewer books because of that.
He just wanted for him.
Yeah, he just I said, dude, you can't use up all the books. Yeah, but it don't matter. You should just be giving them to me. And
only child.
No, I know, but I know a lot of kids like that. That is about them.
The baby?
No, not even a baby. It's just that we produce a society, man, where it's. I got a staff from right now who I got to tend to because it's all about her. She doesn't see the wrongness in anything else because if it doesn't impact her, I don't care. It's gonna impact the rest of my team. It can impact the rest of my team. But guess what? I'm good.
That is the
and she has 2 kids.
Society we live in.
So I'm not talking about somebody. So what do you think her daughter's going to grow up as?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of the key thing there. Is like, what type of, I guess, children are we raising? As my generation, probably more so. You know, what kind of? I think it's the idea of like wanting to be more so your friend and less of your parent.
I got news for you, man. You can't even say your jersey anymore because it got people my age having kids again. I don't know. Don't ask me why.
Hey, when we get back in the game, it makes me feel better.
I love my grandson to death. I could not have to chase him 7 days a week. You know, those 2 days at the alter my schedule to take him to school and stuff like that. You know, I love my dude to death, but doing that every day, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. Doing it every day, I don't know. So, and I'm not knocking it, but I just think mediocrity has kind of become
cool.
Or like, cool.
I don't even want to say mediocrity has become cool, but I just think the idea of
it is cool.
The way that it's pushed to you is that, you know, you don't have to necessarily try to do too much. You can just do just enough. It's like definitely packaged in a way where it's like, nobody's telling you like just be average, but they're definitely kind of the way their things are packaged is like, well, you don't have to do this, but they don't tell you be great if you don't do this. You can be great in other ways, in other areas.
Charles Barkley said something that this is about 5 years ago. He's been interviewed, and they asked him, what's the difference between guys who are projected to be stars in college, you know, and they get to the pros, and they don't, versus the guys who are not, and they become pros. And he said, work ethic. He said, those guys who not supposed to be here, those are guys who soon the college season's over there in the gym. they shooting, they lifting, they running. You know, they're not partying, they're not taking the tours all over the place. You know, that's the goal. He said, and what happens is you get those other guys, they already think they got it made.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a lottery pick. I'm being drafted. So they just don't have the same work ethic.
Yeah.
And it's the same way in life. I think you have people who settle for mediocrity, man. And again, I'm not talking about anybody in particular, but it just YM. People who are struggling and don't want to do better, I don't understand that. You know, and I get it. Some people, things happen. I understand that perfectly clear. Been through some things myself. But just to say back, well, this is the way it always was. Everyone in my neighborhood is like this. My daddy was like this. My
easy
you know,
easy cop out.
Yeah. But you hear it, and the thing about that's scary to me now, because I see it in kids.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm talking to someone that think about the Notebook. You know the Notebook, man, or simple, you know, I got to get the ball. Nobody else can shoot the ball. You know, we all on this court, and the kid take the ball down off the other end of the gym by himself.
But I think it's funny, man. I feel like I kind of mentioned this before. It's just, I don't know. I think talk about this so much in our race. Of course, people that look like us, we list all the reasons and things as to like what holds us back. You know what I mean? And I feel like we talk about it so much, and like we talk about it to our kids and our youth. Like again, they kind of look at it as like, oh, we behind the 8 ball, and it's like it's really nothing I can do. Or just some people feel like everything's so hard. Like I feel like we do have a weaker generation, and sometimes when you hit that wall, some people are not pushing through. They just kind of accept that fate of like example you said, Devin, of like the math problem. You literally just answered that 2-3 minutes ago, and then you come to it again, and without even thinking about it, you're just like, oh, I'm done. I can't do it. I shut down.
I'm smiling because I had the same thing happen. I was hoping to kill his math today. And it's the same thing. And it's not, to your point, like for instance, he keeps writing all his sevens backwards. So Brandon's been doing this for a while.
Mm-hmm.
He's not putting the number in the right column. Who's grading his homework? You know, who's this stage in the game, McKenzie's 6 years old. He can write his numbers and letters the right way, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's doing subtraction, putting them in the right column. And I got a guy that's in the third or fourth grade, and he's struggling with that. And you're telling him, and he gets the principle about carrying numbers and things like that, but he's off because he always puts them in the wrong column.
Mm-hmm.
And he still writes his 7 backwards. He starts his 2s at the bottom, and I mean, everything he does, is and I'm like, well, who's been teaching him all this time?
I mean, somebody's giving up on him. It seems like
somebody's
or right. Somebody's have given up on him.
Yeah, but it breaks my heart, man. It breaks my heart because I look at some of these kids, man, and they are the answer to breaking the poverty cycle in their families.
Yeah.
They have they have access to so much information now, that I never had. They have more than you had.
We gotta reframe how we talk about our future and like the things that are going on here. I think.
Well, how would you reframe it?
Just understanding that yes, there are some things that may be a little bit more difficult for us as brown people. Like, and life ain't fair. You taught me that at an early age. There's nothing in this world that's honestly fair, from sports, which WNBA, they got some controversy right now, but like
everybody does.
Politics. Like, there's just things in life that are not fair, and don't expect it to be, because if you do, that's when you're going to get hit with a hard reality, and some people, like, they can't take it. And that's where we get these people who kind of, they fold. So I think, like, I would really try to preach to them, like, listen, don't, like, yes, things are hard. Things may be harder for you. That means, unfortunately, maybe not even unfortunately, you're going to have to work harder.
But contrary, I was in a room yesterday, and I'll be with him tomorrow with some ninth, most.
That's what makes us who we are.
Juniors. I'm in the room, and it was totally opposite. I'm listening to those guys talking about the futures, what they want to do, and they unclear on how to get there, but they all had a goal.
Mm-hmm.
And it was crazy because the goal wasn't. One guy was kind of out there, and I believe him though. He's going to try it. He wants to be a Navy SEAL. Mm-hmm. But everybody, one guy wants to own. He got a great idea about how he wants to start a trucking company. I mean, they all have these. So a couple guys in marketing. So I was really taken back to be in the room with those guys, and privileged to be. That I wasn't getting stupid stuff.
Right.
I'm a work at McDonald's. I'm a live in the mansion kind of stuff. Guys, you could tell talk they were staking up. But the problem with it is they're in a minority. I meet a lot of young people, man, who just don't. It's almost like you don't care. I don't care what happens to me. I'm gonna be all right because my mom or my dad, somebody's gonna take care of me. I don't get that. And again, you see nice cars going down the street.
Yeah.
So what you gotta, at some point, don't you ever say, I want that?
But I think that's something again that you did for us is like you inspired us to have our own. Like you. It's funny just thinking about Shaq and like what he says to his kids. He's like, I'm rich, you're not rich, and letting them know that like to get this or anything close to this, you won't have to go to school. Well, that's his rules, but like things that he kind of instilled in them to be able to achieve what he has or even more.
But I think we need more of that. And I'm not saying be intelligent, but when you are a parent and you're uninspired, it's hard for your kids to be inspired.
Mm-hmm.
Because to your point, that's the conversation they're exposed to. You're talking to cousin Bobo about how terrible life is, how things ain't fair, and you're never going to get a chance, and they're listening to this.
It's funny, like again, just thinking about our community, we really live in that.
Oh yeah.
And it's like we don't have the conversation of like, yeah, these things are true and exist, but
I left for school Monday, and that was the first time in my life I ever felt like I'm ready to retire.
Oh, man.
I walked out and I was walking.
That had to be bad.
I walked through the parking lot. I walked in my car. I was like, man, I quit. I quit. I can't do this anymore, man. Because I'm in a meeting with a parent who just don't saying the right things, but I could tell she's not really
doing it.
Hearing what we're talking about. We're talking about your kid either going to jail or being killed. Or both. He made a list last year. At the end of last year, the kids he was going to bully this year. So I'm thinking to myself,
what?
Yeah.
You're not thinking about the summer.
No. But to Chris's
I'm going to work out.
But they're thinking differently. They're thinking differently. It's just, and I've never seen anything like it. When I'm talking to them, they're already talking about, I had to deal with a situation the other day. Just let me back up. I'm at this weekend. I'm texting about a situation that happened with him. I come up cursing everybody. Kid did wrong, cursing everybody out. Deal with that, and then you got the other situation Monday, and then Monday I was kind of like this drained because it's like I'm looking at our kids, our little brown kids, and it's like even, and I'm not gonna say all of us, but the people, the gatekeepers, have settled into this role that it's okay to be mediocre. It's okay to push these kids through with them being average. It's okay. And to me, a gatekeeper, your responsibility is to try to inspire those kids, is to try to get those kids to do better, to try to get them to break, the cycle. And people keep telling me, well, it starts at home. We know it's not happening at home. So when do we put something in place to change that? Because the people at home don't have it either.
It's such a difficult cycle here.
Well, I no doubt about it, but there has to be an effort, though. And nothing ever changes until somebody attempts to change it.
I mean, but you're just thinking about, do you feel like the teachers in the school are necessarily armed to kind of
I think some. I think some.
things?
I think I divide the teachers in school in different categories. And I do think some are capable of doing it. I think some try. I do. But it's not just a teacher. It has to become a climate, a culture. Because I can be with you, but I'm gonna spend most of my time in this other culture. So yeah, some people are going to get it from you, but when I get over here, I'm this other culture who I spend most of my time with. When I go home, my parents, or my guardian, and I look at it and I look at our community, and like I said, Monday I was heartbroken, man. Monday I was like, man, why am I doing this? For the first time in my life, I was asking, why am I doing this?
Do we think this is a societal issue or
cultural
issue?
Yeah. I think it's societal. I think the only reason we see is a culture because that's the hardest. But that's the majority of people I see on a daily basis. That's the majority of people I see on a daily basis. But if you just look around society as a whole, just go look at who's working these jobs, and you see mostly older people now, or people complain about, or they complain about. Don't say it. What they complain about.
Let me tell you, I'm sorry.
But people here don't want those jobs.
What it is
beneath them.
It's people
Yeah.
The bar is probably set so low. It's like you see in customer service now or jobs where people need to have some type of coof. They just let anybody in the door.
I asked, you know what a one-on-one is, right? You know what a one-on-one is.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting in the meeting. I'm so, okay, well, what's the qualifications for a one-on-one? So dude started laughing. I said, what's up? He said, man, they go to a one-day training and they hire them. You training somebody on one day to spend time with kids, man, and help them modify their behavior, and you don't know if this person can control their behavior. Chris, they be on it. Chris, they supposed to be watching the kid. Little kid today, Ian. Ian is slightly autistic. He's screaming, ah, ah, ah. So I said, Ian, what's wrong? I'm saying, her. I said, what? Her. I'm trying to get her attention. She on her phone. He's like less than 5 feet away. Yeah. So when I say, excuse me, he's trying to get your attention. And I guess because it wasn't her kid, she just put her smile, put her head back down.
But
hold up. But my point is, your behavior is why you have that job. Listen. That's why you can't get another job. When does that come together?
It doesn't. It really doesn't. Like just people, like I said, the bar is set so low. And you experience it. You see it when we go to customer service.
I got so many stories
at the airport. I got a couple stories. I got one just at PetSmart. Like they canceled my dog's appointment for a grooming appointment 3 times in a row, like day of. And like I call 4th time, I'm like, yo, y'all should be accommodating us or something. Nah, we can't do that. It's like, wait, what? I'm like, let me speak to the manager. I'm the manager of the grooming. And he's just like, we can't do that. You know, if you don't pay, then she don't get paid. I'm like, what is going on here? And like any other customer service, they you'd be like, yo, I'm sorry for the inconvenience.
But that's
Let's take care of this.
That's my point. People who work in these after school programs, they don't get paid unless they show up. So you work in a part-time job as your only job, and you come in 2-3 days a week. What kind of lifestyle was that afforded, man? Unless you're doing something illegal. And I'm not saying they are, but you know that when you work, you know what I'm talking about. Because you just don't show up. But that's my point. They beg you for a job, and they come 3 to 5 days a week. I had somebody tell me, I spend it, man. I've been here a minute, man. I think I need a break so I can make some more money. Dude, come to work every day. You have some more money. You miss 2 days every pay period.
It's crazy. And I think what's actually kind of wild thinking about people who kind of are in this kind of mediocrity mindset. Mediocrity mindset.
Wayne, you got it quiet there, bro.
People in this mediocre mindset is funny. Like they do the least and ask for the most.
Man, I had somebody tell me I need to reduce my days to 3 days a week. Yeah, but I need a raise. So I'm stupid enough not to realize you want me to pay you more so you can still make what you were making for 5 days, but pay you for 3 days. But my point is, you don't see anything wrong with that.
They don't. We had this dude who he was first off, you're only supposed to get a half-hour lunch, and he decided to take an hour. And they keep telling him like, "Yo, you can't do that." But we'll be gracious. We let you do that. Then he got the nerve to be like, "Well, can I leave a half hour early so I can pick up my kids?" Like, but you're not even bending on the lunch. But then got the nerve to ask for more.
Man, I gotta meet with somebody tomorrow.
They said, "Can you come in early?" No, I can't do that.
I gotta meet with somebody tomorrow who wanted to be promoted, and I sat down with him over the summer and said, "Yo, this is why you can't have a job, because you're not here. You said you were second in command. We had to hire somebody else because whenever the person in charge took off, you were supposed to be charged. You would call out."
What?
Yeah, and she would call out most of them. There was days when you were here, but you weren't here, and you late. And I'm telling her, and I get sometimes things happen, but it's still a job. You need to understand that, So I guess her way of proving, is I'm thinking what I told her, I said, tell you what, show me that you really want this, and maybe we can work something out. Man, she got worse, man. So now I got to go tomorrow and pretty much give her an ultimatum. Like,
and she was like, "You're gonna miss me. You weren't doing anything. I'm not gonna miss anything."
But my whole problem is
mindset.
My whole problem is you got 2 kids. You only working part-time as it is. I don't understand.
Because I think it's a thing where people kind of live in this idea of society and people owe me. You owe me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, seriously, I'm just thinking about people that I've seen come through, my job. And it's like the ones that do well are the ones that are like, yo, I got to do what I need to do. I'm going above and beyond. I'm putting in the work. And then there's others who are just like, think that the world needs to bend and coddle around them, and they are doing the bare minimum.
Okay, so let's look at that since we talk about that. So how did you get there? How do you develop that mindset that you think if you do less, you're going to get more?
Some Black people do have a sense of entitlement.
Yeah. If you get called,
I am officially dumbfounded.
Not even like getting coddled your whole life, but like even like because I'm Black, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. You're going to do this. You're going to do this. Like, I dare you to say something about it.
But it's not just okay. We had a guy apply for a job, right?
I'm just saying, like,
he knows the
some
job
people like that,
and he knows the job description, he knows the salary, he knows all that. So on the interview, I brought him out to the site so he could see the school, walk around the school and everything, So I knew I was in trouble because he goes. So I'm gonna let you know it's not just Black people. He don't have a job, so he goes. It's Caucasian dude. So I said, well, okay, so what you think? He says, well, I can't make a decision right now until you send me a contract. I don't say a contract, but if you're gonna work, Well, he says, I have an agent. So I knew where. So then at that point, man, I'm just turning myself.
Agent?
Yeah, I'm just turning myself.
For what?
So then he says. So I said, okay, I'll tell you what.
That's where all your money going.
Let me know by Friday. Let me know by Friday. What you want to do, and I'll have HR send you the stuff because there's no need for me to have them send you the stuff. So I get a text message on Friday. I thought I was getting my contract. Okay, dude, it's not a contract. I'll have HR send you the packet. So HR sends him the packet, and so then next thing I know, he sends his email back asking for $11,000 more than the job was on the thing that's posted for.
Goodbye.
It gets better. And he says, I'm disappointed in your company's onboarding. So I said, so now
you didn't get hired.
So what I explained to him, which companies don't do, I'm going to bring site directors from our other sites to spend a day with you until you're ready. I'm going to rotate them through here to spend a day with you until you're ready to do it. To help you, and forget the fact that now I know you lied. You got all this stuff on your resume. You know how to do all this stuff. You manage 12 sites. Yeah, you manage 12 sites and all this stuff, man. So my point is, dude. And then he act like, me. I'm like, look, man. As far as I'm concerned, this conversation over. Because the first time you lied to me, I got to cut you off.
My agent.
What? Dude, you don't have a job.
I don't understand.
That's what you're talking about, and so I don't understand that.
I don't understand.
You don't have a job.
But you know what's funny? Like, there's somebody who is mediocre.
Well, I'm saying it because it's not just
nothing.
It's that and so first, then first, if I'm trying to get a job, I ain't gonna be criticizing you about your onboarding and something. So I don't know if you're trying to prove you smarter about something.
Onboarding is trash.
And you haven't even onboarded. So I mean, but we okay with that. I don't understand, man. Like people okay, and sometimes you have to. But why are you okay? With because you don't try. And I get it. The kids are costly. I say this all the time. If I had to go back in time and prices everything it was now, y'all might have been in trouble. Because private school and moving out here and all this, I don't know.
Primark kids.
But I say that, but people now, it's okay. And then the thing about it that kind of makes it worse, I'm mad at you because you don't want that. I'm mad at you because you want more. So now you bougie. Who do you think you are? You think you're, we come up with all this stuff that we say, and I don't understand.
Try to hold each other back.
Yeah, but because you don't want anything, so you mad at somebody because they want something.
I mean, it's just people lazy though too.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree.
Oh yeah.
People are lazy.
No, I agree with everything you just said. I do, but I'm still stuck on the why. I'm still stuck on because growing up, in my neighborhood, I saw poverty. My mom and dad instilled certain things in me, but I saw other things outside of my neighborhood that made me realize, it was possible. I saw new cars and knew I wanted the new car. You know what I mean? I saw different things, so I knew I wanted it.
I think I've seen it. It's people who like they live into to be on EBT and like kind of making business deals out of that. And just like seriously,
it's like
that's
the pandemic. Like when people realize, I can get more off of.
I'm getting a check.
People advertising on Facebook. I got EBT.
No.
Yeah.
Hey, but see, why would you go on Facebook and do that? That's when I was growing up. That wasn't a badge of honor.
That's where
People weren't letting everybody know that they were getting government cheese or other stuff they were getting or stamps. People weren't bragging about that.
But now it's just that's the norm, though. You see it?
Yeah, but I agree. But I think that the problem with it now is it's becoming generational.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's getting, and somebody gonna say, well, it's been generational. I've not seen it this bad. I've not been around a bunch of little kids who most of them are for themselves. You know, and granted,
I mean,
a lot of them have emotional
too,
problems.
though.
A lot of them have other issues to go along with it. Well, I agree.
They be raised to fend for yourself.
I agree.
Even that story you told about the aunt, like it's just like was no sense or logic behind it. It was just do what you want to do for you.
And she goes, well, you know, people picking on him. It's a kid who I was giving so much grace. For instance, I'm standing there talking to him about bullying, and another kid walks past. He reaches back and punches the kid while I'm standing right there. So like, yo, why did you do that? And he goes, well, you know, he called me fat. No, he didn't. Oh, he called me fat early in the day when we were in school.
Sure.
So he's always the initiator. So my point is, his aunt is doing him a disservice because, yo, he in his mind, I can do what I want to do and get away with it. This is the same kid who made a list. So I'm saying we if you don't deal with that, so if you couple that with mediocrity, dude gonna think he can take whatever you want to take.
Yeah. Yes.
So this is where it gets, you know, it's dangerous. And you know, I go a step further, and I don't care who you vote for, but I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. I don't, because I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. You know, that's what's wrong. That's what's wrong with Trump. Dude think I can do whatever I don't care about anybody else. It's all about me.
Yes.
You know, I don't care. I'm going to use the military to squash my enemy. Anybody disagree with me now on the squash? Last week, what did he say? CBS 60 Minutes, you know, he going to take their license if he get enough because they, you know, he went to Fox and asked Fox, anybody that shows commercials about for the Democratic Party or against him, he wants to, you know, he gets an office, he's going to snatch their license.
Is insane.
But he represents a portion of America because they like that.
I know.
That's the scary thing. They like that.
I was like, man.
Well, when you hear people
politicians
say,
down to everyday
I'm okay
citizens.
with him being a dictatorship. That's mediocrity. This guy's going to tell you what to do for the rest of your life.
That's going backwards.
He ain't mean it like that.
For the rest of your life. So I'm just saying, it's not like it's just our culture. I was talking about our culture because that's what I'm experiencing on a daily basis.
Me too.
But this is a societal thing, man, where mediocrity is okay. You know, I look at some of these dudes, man, who driving, you know, they driving $40,000 cars. 40. And they make them in the low riders.
I mean,
they buy used for it, then they make them in the low riders. Like, you got a Benz and you turn into a Bentley in this turn. No,
cars are expensive.
Yeah, well, that's why I say used. Man,
cars are expensive.
$80,000-$90,000.
I know for a new one.
And that's not loaded.
I know. I've been looking, and
so I guess that's. I said because you know I love the Genesis.
Hurt my feelings.
I love the Genesis, man. There's no South Bar. Love Genesis, and we went down to went to the wedding, and everywhere I went, because I didn't realize what the new cars was. Everywhere I went, people were just talking to me. Lady in the parking lot, oh man, this is such a nice car, man. You know, just command respect. So I went, look, man, it's starting price 85 G's.
Yeah. That's a good thing you didn't say he was renting. She'd have walked right off.
But that's my point. I like nice things. So mediocrity wasn't going to do it for me. And I grew up in the hood. I got friends who grew up in the hood, and we just didn't want the average. You know, that's to me that I equate that to a person as long as they don't care if the team go 0-40, they on the team.
I'm sure people do like nice things, but it's like, are you willing to do
what it takes?
But
see, then if you settle for mediocrity, you have to almost set on your head that you're not going to have a lot of nice things. You almost have to come to that conclusion.
Or just
they don't see it like that.
Yeah, or they just think it's going to be easy, or it's just going to magically come. Some people believe in that too.
Yeah,
like just manifesting.
Like I know people. What? Zodiac signs.
I say it every day.
Zodiac signs is coming back. It's a big thing.
They been here.
But I mean, it's back huge now. I mean, I know it's been around, but now it's
I'm just like
younger and younger people start talking about it now. It's like, man, I'm like, come on, man. Oh, you're a Scorpio.
You're Leo.
You that spell Scorpio. You know, the stars are lining up, and you know, I had somebody tell me that they believe in all, you know, is more than one of us in alternative universes. So this is anyway.
It's all Dr. Strange.
My thing is, we have that kind of imagination.
Spider-Man.
But we can't but we can't see ourselves outside our community. We can be imaginative when it comes to that. We can come up with all kind of crimes, all kind of ways to beat the system. You know, we got that figured out.
But you know what's funny? Like in a weird way, that's like some people's idea of like, I have a better life somewhere. It's like you know what? Somewhere I'm the man. Like listen, I have a house.
What's that show? What's that show?
Black Matter, where it's like the alternate universes and like different versions of yourself. And it's like you got the version of you.
But you know what's ironic about that? With even him, he had everything, but he went back because
he went to another you because he
wanted. But he had all the money. He was filthy rich for seeds,
but he didn't have the woman that he loved.
It's
always that.
So I don't know. I just think you know it's becoming a real curse, man. We've settled to be mediocre, man. I think you know people don't, and I'm not gonna say everybody, but the aspiration is not there the way it used to be. You know, I'm just getting by. I'm getting just enough. You know, people don't talk about vision anymore. People don't talk about hope anymore. You know, nobody's talking about. You know, when we talk about tomorrow, they literally mean tomorrow. Yeah. Nobody's thinking about like 6 months down the road. And I just don't. You know, and to your point, it is generational because when I talk to young people, I'm hearing the same thing. I just got to make it to graduate high school. What kind of goal is that? You're in the 10th grade. you ain't want to change that goal, dude.
I mean, everything's just so short-sighted. Yeah. Like it's just kind of the bar or the goal.
But then what's next? My goal is to graduate
right there, just enough in front of you.
You know, high school ain't hard.
Yeah, I was going to say, literally the bar.
Graduating high school ain't hard.
No, but that's my point. If that's your greatest aspiration, you know, and some of them a lot more. One kid I'm talking to, and he just think, you know, money gonna make me happy. I don't care what kind of job I get. Dude, that ain't true. You know, at first you are, but after a while, a job will start to get on your nerves if you don't like it.
Mm-hmm. You think Diddy is happy right now?
You know, but then again, and this goes back, and this is a whole nother show. Do you know the definition? Because I asked this question. You want to be happy? Yeah. What's the definition of happy? Most people can't answer that. You want to be successful? What does success look like? They don't know. They're trained to say these things, but even adults, if you dig in deep with adults, most adults settle for mediocrity, man. This is what my college coach said this one. He said, let me tell y'all something, man, because we were playing kind of half behind, not as good as we were. We were winning, so we kind of got lazy. And he said, let me tell you something, man. He said, you guys right now are settled for mediocrity. He said, let me tell you what's going to happen. If you continue this pattern, you're going to get mediocre grades when you leave here. You're going to meet a mediocre woman. You're going to marry her, live in a mediocre house, and drive a mediocre car.
He was like, yeah.
He was like, and he said that you will get a job, he meets everything about you is going to have mediocre stamped all over. And when he said that, you know, and everybody, for the most part, everybody was like, wow, we never really thought about it like that. How when you start that ball rolling, that's what's going to happen. Because you can't be, if you're mediocre, it's going to be in all areas of your life. It ain't just going to be in one area.
Yeah.
And if you're mediocre, you don't want somebody that's not mediocre because they're going to challenge, they're going to make you look bad. Mm-hmm. So you want to find somebody just like you.
Yes. I actually kind of, my closing thought for today, I did hear this or watch this video of the coach from the Colts, I believe, and I think this is kind of the idea. He said, like perfection is impossible, but still at least aim for it. Because if you don't get perfection, you'll get excellence.
He stole my line.
I was like, ooh.
He stole my line.
I've been saying that
I've been saying that for the longest time, man. My dad used to tell me, he says, you know what, aim for perfection. He said, even though nobody's perfect, but if you aim for perfection.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people say that.
He says, if you aim for perfection and you fall short, you land on excellence.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people said it because you would have heard it before he said it, man. Somewhere along the line, he got my line, man.
It's probably a book out there.
Figure out where he got that from.
He was watching you.
He probably was watching one of these shows.
Whoa.
Ain't nobody gonna hear that because he on his little show.
Run that back.
Man, where you at, man? It's like my thing was. It's just like when I say destiny's a matter of chance, not choice. Everybody say that, man. Or when I say don't think to circumstances, don't shrink to your circumstances, rise to the occasion. That's a catchy phrase. People saying it, man. Keep pushing the stone. Everybody's starting to say that now.
what's crazy about that one is
I should have traded that.
me and Justin was talking about that. We was like, yo, why are people saying this? We used to laugh at this so much, and now I just hear about pushing this stone. I actually saw a video demonstration of like a cartoon, like pushing it up the hill. I was like, yo, this is...
See, you don't want to get popped. You don't have no credit. How long have I been saying that? And it's in my tagline.
That one you should have got coined. You actually need to trademark that one immediately.
It's too late now.
It ain't too
Some
late.
else already did it.
There's different types of trademarks out there. So listen, we can talk about that on. You know, look that up.
Don't shrink these circumstances. Rise to the occasion. Yo, people saying this stuff now, man.
Yeah, or maybe you need to trademark the "be inside of me." Get that one next.
That's all right. It's gonna be coming out soon.
But yes, I think we had a great show today, guys. Like I really love this conversation because I think we are kind of seeing something happen right now that isn't being talked about and addressed.
It's not good.
And like to think about, you know, what's that's going to look like in the future. It's scary. It's scary. And I think, you know, maybe having this conversation open up that dialogue for other people, and we can start actually coming up with ways to.
I have never been as
counteract
this. Monday, it was like my heart was just heavy, man. And you know, it's like you look at these kids, and it's like I say, and this is the analogy I've been using. So if you hear this, take it out from me. That's like being in a Spanish-speaking country and you can't speak Spanish. You're trying your best to communicate.
That's me.
You're trying your best to communicate, man. And that's how I feel about some of these kids. Like they're trying their best to communicate and they can't. You know, and we're not, I know you didn't mean it like that, but we keep somebody said this yesterday. Yeah, well, it gotta happen at home. We know it's not happening at home. So when do we stop giving up on generations and start putting something in place in school to help break the cycle?
Yeah.
I don't know. We got a minute, Devin. You got some last words for this last minute?
Gotta break the cycle, baby.
Don't be afraid to fail.
Yes.
That's the thing with breaking mediocrity. If you want to go the extra mile, you know, breaking that cycle, sometimes you are going to fail, but that's all right. Just as long as you're able to get back up and keep pushing the stone.
Fail forward. Great show, guys.
In the words of Les Brown, if you fall down, fall on your back. Because if you can look up, you can get up.
Okay? I'll try my best to fall on my back. Take care, everybody.
Another episode of Above Average Black Men. We'll see you guys next week. Same time, same channel.
Let's go see guys.
The first quarter just finished.